Hi everyone. My name is Taylor. I work here at the Random House Marketing Group, and I recommend books on my own Instagram channel, Books with Taylor. I'm going to be hosting a couple of our virtual events over the next few weeks. I'm so excited. And today I'm going to be joined by Ariel Kaye for a lunch and learn. She should be with us in just a few minutes. But in the meantime, join me in the comments. Tell me where you're tuning in from. Tell me what you're reading. Let's see, I think we have her. There she is. Is this working? All right, she'll be here in just a second. But keep commenting and ask questions using the question feature. So we're going to be answering those along the way.
Hi,
Hi. Hello. How are you?
I'm
I'm
good. How are you?
good. I'm so happy you could join us today.
Me too.
Do you want to start by telling us a little bit about yourself and about your incredible book?
Sure. Well, I'm Ariel Kaye. Thanks for joining, everyone. I am the founder and CEO of Parachute, and we are a home essentials brand that is based in Los Angeles and committed to making you feel at home. Excuse me. I wrote a book called How to Make a House a Home. Here it is. Um,
Oh,
Thank you. I'm really excited. It's definitely, as you know, a labor of love, and it's just so exciting and so surreal to see it all come to life. So it's really all about purposeful living and creating purposeful spaces. I really wanted to take a fresh perspective. I'm not an interior designer, and so the book is not, necessarily traditional kind of how-tos or step-by-step ways, to follow the rules and create this like specific space. It's really more all about how to create intentional space, how to create a home that's welcoming and nurturing and really authentically you. And yeah, it was such a fun process to write, and I'm so excited because books are finally starting to get into people's homes, and it's so incredible.
your book came out this week, so everyone is out in the world. You can go buy it.
Yeah.
You can go to penguinrandomhouse.com. It'll have all your retailers there. It's beautiful. It's so nicely illustrated too. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah, I know the illustrations really came out beautiful. It's such a nice way to bring it to life. That was such a fun process too, working with the illustrator and working to just, think about the pieces that we really wanted to bring to life with illustrations and how to, yeah, how to put it all together.
Amazing. So I have a couple of questions lined up to ask you. So we'll start there. For those of you just turning in, this is Random House Live with Ariel Kaye, and we're talking about her new book, How to Make a House a Home. You can ask questions using the little question box below, and we'll get to them there. So our first question is probably a bit simple, but how do you differentiate between a house and a home?
I always say that, a house is a structure. The house is four walls. It's a place. The home is really what makes you feel and how it supports you and how it nurtures you and how it takes care of you. And it's the little things. It's the fabrics, it's the feel, it's the flow, it's the colors, it's the environment. And it's yourself, it's your experiences and who you are and where you are in your life and at that moment. And so, I think that was sort of kind of the beginning of this journey, was thinking about like, how do you take, what is just this building or this like space and make it you and make it your own so that it can take care of you.
I love that. And I love the decoration that I can see behind your head there. It's so nice. I love to get into people's homes.
I know it. I was saying the other day that, the kind of the best part about Zoom and all of these FaceTimes and different calls is that for the first time ever, you're seeing into people's homes, and we're all such voyeurs. It's like, ooh, what's happening over there?
Well, and you too get to learn a little bit more about people that way.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's been really fun for our team. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to circle back to one of the words that you just said, which is flow. How do you create flow in your home?
Sure. So I think about flow, the idea of flow, is in a lot of different ways. You think about the flow of water, or like when you're in a yoga flow, it's the movement. And so for me, when I think about flow within a home, it's, what is the purpose? How do you want to use the space, and how do you want it to it to serve you and the many things that you're going to do in it. So for me, I when I think about flow, I look at the architecture first and think about, what are these spaces and how are we going to use them? Are there things that we want to enhance? Are there things that we want to minimize? And then you identify kind of anchors within your rooms and think about what, is the living room all about entertaining? Is it all about being cozy? Is your dining room table about, the bar card and mixing drinks, or is it about sitting down for dinner? And so identifying these anchors and then how you kind of accessorize and fill in the space around them. But, I like to think about different spaces within the home. And I talk about this in the book. There's retreat spaces, which are kind of the spaces that are more about comfort, and then passing spaces, which are kind of the transitions, and then entertainment. So that's how I think about flow. And it's kind of like, for me at least, I think about when flow's working, it's just good. You walk in, you feel connected. And when it's not, and there's something off, that to me is a cue that maybe you want to rearrange some things or try a different color palette, and keep playing around.
I bet the flow is really important right now in kind of creating those different spaces in your home when
Absolutely.
you're home all day.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I was saying the other day, it's like our homes are working on overdrive right now. I mean, they are our restaurants, they are movie theaters, they are our workout studios, they're our office, there are, and it's really important to think about how you can help transition your home through these different moments, because they're all happening here.
All at once.
Yeah.
For everyone who's just tuning in, this is Random House Live with Ariel Kaye, and we're talking about her new book, How to Make a House a Home. My next question for you is about self-care, and I'm wondering if you have any rituals or routines that you can kind of use for comfort right now in your home.
Absolutely. I think rituals and routines are more than, they're always important, but right now more than ever. Especially like I said, our homes, it's really easy to get stagnant and to get overwhelmed with everything that's going on. And so, I think that routines and rituals can come in all shapes and sizes. For some people, that might mean waking up and meditating. For others, that might just be the act of, going to the kitchen every morning and pouring yourself some tea. And that's like that moment that you just can take a breath and enjoy that tea. And it can be very simple. But, I think about the way that I'm creating space within my home, and, turning my living room, which I might have been sitting in and doing emails in for many hours, and like what I do to transition into night so that it can be more relaxing and take care of me. But, another thing, and I was talking about this the other day, is that, we are stuck at home. Like this is a really great time to take out pictures of friends and family members and use those as ways to be nurturing, because we're not seeing them as much, and so, think about things that make you feel good right now. And that could be enough, like bringing something that you bought in Mexico on vacation, to the dining room table so that you see it every day. But, think about little things that you can do. For me, I know that moving my body is so important. And I like to look through books, and so bringing out some new coffee tables from one room to the other can be helpful too.
I love that. And I love the idea that your home is taking care of you and not the other way around. I think that's a really fun idea.
Yeah, I mean, this is our space. It has to serve a lot of purposes right now, and you have to do things that make you feel comfortable and cozy, and that can definitely mean wearing a robe on all of your Zoom conference calls, because I am, and I should be wearing a robe now. I'm sorry, that was my first mistake of the day.
Maybe next time.
Yeah.
So for those of us who are stuck at home, I'm wondering if you have tips for some easy updates that we can make to our homes now to make them a little more comfortable for us.
Yeah, I feel like I'm wanting to make changes and refresh my space almost every day right now, because you're seeing it constantly. So one of my favorite things to do is to shop my own home. And so that can be just moving an art piece from one wall to another, or thinking about, taking your pillows from the couch and moving them to a chair, really just mixing it up, thinking about what you already have. You don't need to go out and shop. We can't go out and shop, but really just utilizing what's already there. And it's incredible how different something can feel in a new environment, even within the same home. So that's one great way to do it. I also just like am really, really enjoying mixing up textures and fabrics. I'm bringing out all the cozy things. I've got extra blankets near all my chairs and couches so that I can just like wrap myself and again, like nurture and hug myself when I'm having a tough moment or feeling overwhelmed, because we all are having those moments. But really shopping your space, like thinking about, moving things around. That's one of the easiest things that you can do.
Great. I think we have some audience questions. Let's see if I can
Great.
work this feature correctly. Oh, here's a great question. Let's see, did that work? Yes. Which of your homes most impacted the way that you design a home?
That's a good question. I think my apartment in New York that I lived in for almost 7 years was strangely large for a New York apartment. And I really got to, I did a lot of experimenting there. So I was able to try a lot of things. Not all of them were great, but it was where I kind of found my own style because I tried so many different things and again, like some of them worked and some of them didn't. But I would say that space gave me a lot of creativity and really helped me find my own. And when I moved to Los Angeles, I knew more about what I really wanted to use and how I wanted to design.
How do you find inspiration for all these different designs?
I find most of my inspiration from the outdoors, to be honest, like especially from a color perspective. Like I am so inspired by the beach and, where I live in California. And then also from other designers and from, things that I find in magazines and in books. But one of the things that we always talk about at Parachute actually is that design inspiration can come from everywhere. I mean, we've designed a collection from a picture that we saw of an elbow sleeve of a man's shirt. I mean, it really you can find inspiration from the color of an ice cream pint. I mean, it's incredible. There's so much inspiration out there, and I think just kind of shifting your perspective to like allow it all to be inspiring can be kind of profound.
Awesome. I love that you take from nature. That's so cool. And we have another question here for you. What are some of the big home decor trends that are popular right now?
One of the home decor trends that I actually really love is kind of, and it's something that I talk about in the book, is really is this idea of just like making it eclectic, kind of saying no to rules, mixing up different styles, taking inspiration from something that might be more traditional, and also incorporating something that really has more of a modern feel. And so I love that because it allows you to really express yourself. And so if you are into florals and you want to throw in a lucite table, like that works too. You don't have to follow one specific traditional look in order for your space to make sense.
It's kind of freeing. I like that.
Yeah, me too. I think it's great. I mean, our homes should really express ourselves. We're not one size fits all. And I think having that freedom to express and try new things is what it's all about. And if it doesn't work, you mix it up and try again.
Amazing. Okay, so for those of you who are tuning in, this is Random House here with Ariel Kaye, and we're talking about her beautiful new book, How to Make a House a Home. There it is. We have a couple minutes left. Do you have more questions? You can use the little comment feature on the section below, and we'll try to get through a few more. In the meantime, Ariel, I want to know if you have a favorite room in your house.
So that's a good question. So my house is pretty small. All the rooms sort of merge together, but typically I would say, I love entertaining and I love hosting. So I find that I spend a lot of my energy in those spaces where people come and they hang out. So my living room has always been one of my favorite spaces, and generally speaking, I love my living room because it's where I can host. I can seat a ton of friends, and it's where we gather. I have a backyard, and our outdoor space serves a similar purpose. So These days, though, I would say my bed and my bedroom seems to be my favorite place. But I think that's just based on the circumstance.
I'm sure you're not alone in that.
I know. We're all just trying to get through it together.
Yeah. So another favorites question for you is do you have a favorite part of your book? Was there a section that you loved writing or
Hmm.
that you had the most fun with?
That's a good question. I mean, I definitely, the section around textiles and feel and touch certainly hits home because that is, I've built this business around textiles. And so it was, I would say I have a lot of heart in that, but it also was one of the hardest chapters for me to write actually, because I had so much information that I wanted to share. And I think sometimes when there's like too much, it can get hard. So, I was very pleased when that chapter felt complete because it was one of the more challenging ones for me to write. But I also, we talked about flow at the beginning, and that's where the book starts. And I really do believe that flow is such an important part of what makes a home work and something that can be just kind of overlooked in terms of the process. So I'm excited to share that chapter as well. It's
Amazing.
hard. It's like picking a favorite child.
I'm sure. I just saw a really good question in our comments feed here. If this is someone's first time decorating a place and they don't know where to start, do you have any tips?
That's a good question. So I think I would just take a second and back up and think about what your goals are and what you want from your home. And we talked about this a little bit before, but is it a place to entertain? Is it, do you have, many, are there children in the home? Like, how do you want the space to work? And then I think sometimes going room by room and can also be helpful and help kind of eliminate that overwhelming, like, how do I figure this all out?
Plus, you can get Ariel's wonderful book as a great tool to help.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm here for, just to plug your book.
Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing. And then I also saw another question in our comments feed here. Do you have an opinion about screens in the bedroom or screens kind of in all over the home?
I am a pretty I'm not a screen in the bedroom person, although there are times where I wish I had one. But I'm like a one screen in the home kind of person. And ideally, if I had a larger home, I would have like a room that was more of a den TV watching. I would actually take it out of the living room, but that's a hot topic. Some people really feel opposite of that. So do whatever works for you.
Well, this depends on the purpose of the room, right? And kind of
Yeah,
what
exactly.
you need that
I,
space for.
yeah, I find that TV can get distracting. And so, I would prefer to turn on music and have conversation than, have sports on all the time. But, I don't watch sports. So,
Me let's see if we have any other questions for you here. Is there anything else that you want to tell us about your book or about this experience?
um, I saw a question actually that I think is really relevant right now, which is about creating work from home spaces. Because I think we're all doing that right now. And I would just say that I've got a few tips. One is find a few different places around your home or apartment that work because mixing it up just helps keep the flow in your brain going and can really help break up the day. I'm using my bedroom and I've added a ton of pillows to help like keep myself supported. And then my dining room table, which is also my desk at some points during the day for emails and like when I really need to focus and get a bunch of things done and then I'm like trying to sit outside since I do have a little backyard but I would say create like a simple organization space that can house like all of your work stuff so you can tidy it away, put it away. It can be out of sight while you enjoy the rest of your evening. I think for me that's like that transition point where I want to close the day away, but I'm still in the same space where I spent my entire day. So, yeah, that's
It's a great question, and it's such a hot
yeah,
right now.
yeah,
Like I need to go adjust
yes.
in my home now.
I know. Well, I mean, I've been actually after the workday, I like to take a walk around the block, which for me is like a time to clear my head and just to say, okay, like I'm saying goodbye to the workday, and then I come back. I like to light some candles and think about just making the space now feel like it's appropriate for the evening, and that's been helpful. It really has made a difference.
Good. When you are in outdoor spaces, do you kind of approach that design the same way as you would an inside space?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the more important things to think about with outdoor space is durability, and like from a practical perspective, because there is going to be a lot of wear and tear just from, the environment. But yeah, I mean, I think about it in a similar way. For me, our outdoor space was all about entertaining. We've got a small little kind of tiled patio, and I wanted to maximize that space with some couches and a table because I knew that since our house is small, and I live in Los Angeles where the weather is warm often, that we could use that space as like an extended part of our home and really hang out there often. So yeah, I mean, I think you take a similar approach, but keep in mind that you've got the nature and the environment kind of up against you and for you.
Yes, definitely. Amazing. How often are you changing up things in your home? Do you change it seasonally when summer comes? Is it different than in winter? And kind of do the keep?
Yeah, yeah. I typically find that I do it, twice a year, in kind of a more refresh type of way. I like to make my house feel more cozy and soft, and I like darker colors in the winter. And then come spring, I'm like throwing in the linen, and I'm taking off the layers, and I'm switching out fabrics, and I'm filling the house with different types of flowers. And so that's a normal kind of cadence. Right now, like I said, I literally would switch up my house every day if I could, because we're here so much. But I do think the seasons are a great time to make changes within the home. And so that's my recommendation usually is, as we're kind of hibernating, you get cozy. And then as you're getting ready for those hot summer months, you want to make sure that your house is prepared for it and so that you can be most comfortable.
Definitely. For those of you who are just tuning in, we have a couple of minutes left here, but this is Random House with Ariel Kaye, who is the CEO and founder of Parachute and the author of a wonderful new book, How to Make a House a Home, that's available wherever books are sold. My
Yay.
last question for you, and if you're in the audience, we can still take one or two of yours, but my last question for you is about spring cleaning. And if you have any tips for organizing or kind of to make that process a little bit easier on your home.
Yeah. So organizing is one of my favorite things to do, actually. It brings me such, it makes me feel so good when it's over. It's not necessarily the most fun in the process, but the juice is worth the squeeze, as they say. So my whole thing about organizing is that everything should have a place in your home. So, you should know where things live, and that helps to avoid clutter and helps to make sure that you are staying organized for longer times to come. So I think about organizing. I love bins, I love baskets, and I like to organize things by kind of weekly or daily, weekly, and more like months, yearly things that I use. And so I try to make sure that things that I use daily and weekly are accessible, and that things that I'm using kind of every few months or once a year, maybe holiday decorations or a puzzle that I only pull out when I'm home for the holidays, is those are kind of stashed away and aren't taking up in like space that is more necessary for the things that I'm using constantly. So that's, I think it's important to kind of see what you have and then start grouping things in that way. And that's a really simple way to keep your space organized.
That's so helpful. I know that I have a lot of tips and things to go back to do to my home now, and I hope that all of you tuning in do as well. We're about out of time. So Ariel, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And I hope that everyone goes and purchases a copy of your new book, How to Make a House a Home. And you can follow Random House. Yes, it's so wonderful. And follow Random House for more virtual events. All right.
Thanks.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye, everyone.